Nope, I hit the wrong button. Surprise! Surprising no one.
Famous last words.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Mxiety. I am on tonight with Rudy Caseres of SPSM Chat and the Mxiety. Say hi, Rudy.
Hey, how's it going? I'm ready to play. I got my dual wielding Joy-Cons, my custom D-pad Joy-Con, so I am serious about this.
You're more serious than I am, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
All right.
Am I the only one who likes playing this way? This is very comfortable.
Yeah, I know. I do the together. I like it together, but because your hands are separate, so it's just you like the range.
Well,
of
yeah,
motion.
especially for a game like Animal Crossing, like you don't really need to like be hyper focused on like controlling it right, so it just makes sense.
Okay, well, you know what? You can live your life however you want, Rudy. I'm not going to stop you. So, Rudy and I have been friends since I first interviewed him, I don't know, a while ago. And now we do SPSM Chat together a bunch of Sundays. He invited me to co-host with him. He runs the whole thing. He's going to pretend like he doesn't, but don't listen to him. He runs the whole thing, and then we just come on and make ourselves look pretty. And then he makes me promote my shit. And then hopefully we have a guest on that says decent things, and we're good. That's the show, right? That's a good summary?
Yes, SPSM Chat, suicide prevention, social media.
You totally turned on your host hat. Oh my God, I'm going to call you out. You're like, wait, SPSM Chat. Yeah, you changed your voice and everything. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I gotta get in the self-promotion mode. I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I was promoting the show, and I totally forgot to even say where you can find it. So I'm never gonna let that happen again.
Oh shit.
Awesome, and just so you know, I am auto-hosting on SPSM Chat, so you can go to mixer.com/SPSM Chat to watch our stream every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, or Greenwich Mean Time, I don't know. But it's a pleasure because when I first connected with you, I've been trying to find ways to collaborate, and when I was able to inherit SPSM Chat, you were one of the first persons I thought of because I knew you could take it on. You're a live streamer. You talk about mental health. You do research. You know your shit. So, perfect match. And then our other co-hosts, Hudson Harris, Joelle Marie, and Danielle Glick, we're all one family now. We didn't, for the most part, a lot of us, we didn't know each other at all. No. And we really, really hit it off. I'm really glad.
Yeah, it was a really good chemistry match. I know you didn't plan on it necessarily, but it's a good one. You did a good job.
Yeah, and the fascinating thing is we're talking about suicide, which is one of the darkest subjects possible. But what I loved about the original SPSM Chat created by Dr. April Foreman, who's been a guest on this show before, and it's lighthearted, but it also of course takes itself seriously. We talk about serious stuff and really try to find ways to elevate the conversation and give a platform to not less deserving, but more deserving people who don't get the exposure that they need. So it's been a great experience. We've been on since last August. And I feel like we are firing on all cylinders. Like, I'm so glad that you stuck with us those first few months, because those were trying times as far as like.
You keep saying that. I don't think. I mean, it was rougher because we were figuring shit out, but like you had to go through that. There's no skipping that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing about live streaming, and of course you know this, and probably other live streamers watching this, it's not a matter of when shit will hit the fan. It's about
what you're gonna do.
Wait, reverse. It's not a matter of if shit will hit the fan, it's about when.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's what separates the amateurs from the pros, is whether you're able to deal with those headaches and frustrations and just complete I was gonna say abortion, that's kind of politically incorrect. So just complete clusterfucks. And so I'm glad.
Yeah, but clusterfucks is better than abortion. I don't understand the logic.
I don't know, but like you've had those moments before, right? You probably still do, where it just completely falls apart,
Yeah.
and you might even think like, you know what, it's not worth it. All this headaches and like the payoff is not worth it. But you keep going,
Yeah.
and now look where you are. Look where SPSM chat is.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, how's that multitasking going, Rudy? Being called out.
Who's calling me out?
Your wife. Who else?
That's cool, but I do love your audience though. Like I try to tune in whenever possible. I'm the person who's always spamming the comments with stickers and embers. So,
but it's good stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Nobody's gonna say no to that. Nobody who. Thank you. You're incredibly generous. I don't know why, but I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Well, game recognizes game, and I like uplifting people. Like I try to do all I can. Like when I see someone, it's like, okay, this person is legit. This person's got their shit together. They're like right on the cusp of just like exploding, and I want to get in on that. I want to buy some stock in Mxiety before the price gets too high, and then it's just impossible to get a message returned. So.
Right. All right, well, you got in on the low end, so I'll make sure my people contact your people when that happens. It's good. It's all good.
Yeah, no, but I really appreciate it. It's been amazing to see you blossom, and now you're a mixer partner, you're a pro, you're doing all these things, you've got sponsors and everything, so you are rocking it, and I'm just here to cheerlead you and to make sure that you know that, because I don't want you to ever doubt yourself ever again, ever.
Shit, dude, what the hell is this? I didn't prepare any tissues. I've made it. This is it. I'm kidding. Hi, Leap Deal. Hi.
well, okay. Well, see, the thing about being a pro is that you're always trying to get to that next level.
What? Okay? Did you see what I just caught? Hold on. I'm sorry. Pro.
Are you playing without me?
I am playing. I'm waiting for you to enter my island.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought we were just shooting the shit for. Okay, so I'm at Dodo Airlines.
Yeah. So you're gonna go in there.
Do I choose I want to fly?
Yeah. You say I want to fly. I want to visit someone. Visit them online, and then visit friends, and then my island.
Okay. I'm so sorry, Mxiety fans. You were probably wondering why hasn't he started yet?
I think they'll be okay. Yeah. Anyone have apples? Leave deal. Sorry, we don't. We're not sharing today. We're doing an interview. Or fish. I know. I'm so stoked, yo. This is so expensive. Yeah.
Search for a friend. Okay.
Wee.
If anyone wants to join my island, you're more than welcome to. I am at SPSM chat on Animal Crossing.
Oh my god.
Looks like we got a flight for Who's Positivity?
That's me.
Is that you? Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I already went to the wrong island before, and I felt really bad about that.
No, but so you want to go to other islands, and then you can invite other villagers to live with you on your island. What a noob!
Yes, well,
I know, right?
I share my island with Lass too, so. We go out on dates on Animal Crossing because we can't really get.
So cute.
Yeah, so she takes me around her apartment. We go to the museum. She shows me all her cool stuff. We sit on the bench together on sunset.
Yeah, well, we were watching. It was really cute to watch the stars fall. That was fun. Yeah, I hear people have been getting married on Animal Crossing. Maybe I'm not. I have heard of that. I have heard some. But you have the goals you have set have surpassed. Moop, you're very, very sweet. Mxiety, wait a minute. Are Bliff and I part of your people, or who are we contacting? No, you are the people that people contact. Those are my moderators.
All right, I think okay.
Wait, your island is called SPSM chat? What kind of shill are you? Jesus, look at this product placement.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I didn't actually start playing this game until I knew I was going to come onto your show, so I was like, well, if the only time I'm going to be online really is when I'm on Mxiety's show, I might as well just promote the show.
Might as well plug it up. Oh my god, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Okay. Oh, it's raining. Is it raining in where you're living right now in IRL?
No, it was yesterday, and it's thunderstorming. Tally, to answer your question, it's thunderstorming. He is SPSM chat. The island is farm. Got it.
How did you get the logo on there on the front?
That is all executive producer. That is all husbando. He did a fantastic job. Hold on, I'm gonna come find you.
Okay, so here we go. Let me open up the chat app just so I can. Okay, so where are we?
Pressed the wrong thing. Sorry. What?
Where are we going?
Where are we going? That's what everybody wants to know, isn't it? Just like in life, do you want to know? So we're going to go catch some rare fish. I think that's what we'll do together. That's easy enough to do while we talk. Do you have a fishing pole?
Yes. Oh, okay. It's a little different when you're doing the couch co-op. You don't get as many options.
Yes.
Fishing pole.
But,
okay.
We have to be friends in order for you to be able to... so I'm going to make you best friends, but then I'm going to unbest friend you later. Hold on.
Well, it's even worse on couch co-op because I don't even think you can change your instrument or whatever.
What do you mean? Yes, you can.
Well, I don't know, maybe I suck.
Well, I mean, that's separate.
Yeah, so you got to multitask. You got to play this game. You got to show me around, and you also have to ask me the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, watch at the end of the show. I'm just gonna have asked you whether or not you like. What's your favorite color?
Yes, well, it's black. Well, for those who don't know, I mentioned it. I was a guest last year, and it was a lot different format. Yeah, I had really no clue what I was doing. Being on the show, I was what exactly are we talking about? So I'm glad that we have this fallback on Animal Crossing. So we know each other a lot better. We barely knew each other back then. So I feel like you can dig a lot deeper into the well.
I definitely was really nervous interviewing you. I was really worried I was going to ask the wrong question. I was just worried I was going to ask the wrong question, honestly.
Oh yeah, no worries. But that was fun though. That was fun. That was back on Twitch, right?
That was back on Purple Mixer, yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Is that a bad word? Do you lose your partnership if you say that word?
No. We just fuck around and pretend it's a bad word, but nobody cares. Actually, everybody's super accepting here, and doesn't there's a lot of competitiveness, I feel from the other side, very defensiveness, yo, you guys are stupid, and then I think on the Mixer side we're everybody's great. So I don't know. I don't think it's a problem.
I'm just gonna join Facebook gaming.
All right, good luck. Wait, you have already, right? Because you were live streaming on Facebook the other day.
Well, no, that was for the Mxiety though, and that was a whole different thing. So basically, yeah, it gives you other perks being able to live stream in 1080p. So it's pretty easy to get into the level up program, but it's a lot harder to get monetization. So.
Oh,
but just being able to get into the level up program, you can stream in 1080p doing anything. So.
Ooh, try to get this one. It's a juicy one.
Okay. Cool. I know people join this show today to hear about Facebook gaming.
Definitely. I love the daisies and mums. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Blissful. So, okay, my first question to you is, we don't get to ask you questions a lot on SPSM. You kind of skip over yourself a little bit. So I appreciate being able to talk to you about all this stuff. So my first question, I'm going to go right to it. You were hospitalized several times you have bipolar. Let's back the fuck up. So you have bipolar disorder, right?
Yes. Been hospitalized 3 or 4 times.
Wow. Okay. Do you think you're in a place where you will continually be hospitalized, or do you feel like you're in a better place now?
Well, each time that I was hospitalized was involuntarily, and it was either at school, when I was in the Army, or when I had a roommate. So, my wife's not gonna, call the police on me and like
Right.
having given like involuntary hold. So, and I'm doing much better in life. Like when I had my first hospitalization, my first involuntary hospitalization, I was in the Army and I had a breakdown. Oh, I got it. I got the fish.
Go, 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 go,
so,
go, 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 go.
And so I wish it was like, I wish it was like the Zelda game where you do like a little like.
Oh, you reel it in? No, it's a lot easier than that. They don't want you stressed out in this game at all. Other than like I am afraid of thunder, and it's pretty realistic in this game.
Well, that fishing tournament was pretty intense.
Yeah, you have to fish in 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, you got to get 3 fish. I think it's in 2 minutes. I don't have any room for this.
Well,
and I don't want to give.
No, you got to.
Can I give it to you or no? Sorry, I threw it back in.
No, you can't give it back. You can't give it to me. And your fishing pole broke, son of a bitch.
Oh, really? That's the first time that's happened. Give me yours. Give it to me. Give it to me.
No. Here, I'll give you your own. Let's go to my house. No, that's not the way to my house. Let's go here to my house. Okay.
Sorry, we were talking about involuntary hospitalization. No, it's never going to happen again.
Each time you were involved, I didn't know it was involuntary each time. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I'm such an advocate against forced treatment, because I know firsthand what it's like and how awful it is. And so I know you're not a fan of forced hospitalization either. So it's just one of those things where I just wish it didn't exist at all.
Right. But I mean, like, what would people do if they weren't doing that? Like, how do you, I don't know. So like, what should you do if somebody's freaking you out and they have and they're freaking you out and they're having clearly like a mental breakdown and you don't know how to react to it?
You should forcibly hospitalize them.
Right.
No, well, see, the thing is, if that is something existed that was a lot better, then it'd probably get a lot more attention. But the thing is that we're not focusing enough on what happens a lot before that. It's like the thing with suicide prevention is we don't do nearly enough to support people way before they are actually like at the bridge or have the gun to their head. So that's what I'm focused on, is that's changing the conversation. So a lot of times when that person is at a state where they're just like either going to kill themselves or kill others, you start to freak out and you don't know what to do in that situation, and it's different for everyone else, and you don't know exactly what you would do until you got into that situation yourself. Right. So I totally get that. So I'm more focused, though, personally, on what we can do to avoid that long before that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. I see what you mean. Yeah, so basically create an environment where people don't fucking freak out. Hey, Lucky!
Yeah, well, create an environment where people can talk about their voices, talk about their mania, talk about their suicidality, their self-harm, without being judged, without being afraid to get hospitalized. And that's the biggest step. So many people, there's not a lot of outlets to do that.
Right.
Without like even online and Mixer and Instagram, I know there's all these secret hashtags and groups, but those are getting shut down left and right. And I get it. A lot of these places are not the most mentally healthy, although I don't understand.
They're not having conversations in a healthy way.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be the judge though of what's healthy and what isn't.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of people might think like, oh, a group where people talk about self-harm and show each other their scars, that's awful. That needs to get banned off the internet. Mm-hmm. But until you've been a part of that group and talk to people who are part of that and it actually is beneficial to them, helps them, and is not like trying to pull the razors out of their hands and all this stuff that in the end is not a solution. You want to make sure people can talk about these things and have a way to find community around things.
Hold on. Joelle just set off honk. Okay, are we good? All right. Okay, sorry. So you want to be able to have these conversations, but I think a huge piece that's going to be needed going forward is educating people on how to have healthy conversations around mental health. I think enough people are talking about mental health. I don't think enough people are talking about it productively. And I think that that's the next step for us as like mental health advocates. I'm not the judge to decide what you're doing wrong, but I can show you things that will be helpful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the next necessary step, is to really listen to what people are experiencing and not coming from wanting to diagnose people, wanting to put labels on people, of just letting people tell their own stories without trying to make them conform to a certain narrative.
Right. I see.
So I mean, that's one of my biggest issues.
There's definitely a line.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my biggest issues with public speaking, is a lot of these conferences and organizations, they're healthcare organizations, and so they want a very narrow narrative that usually ends with them danking them, the healthcare industry, the pharmaceutical companies and everything. So it's just hard to have an alternative narrative and get taken seriously.
Right. Like says, like eating disorders, hashtags on Instagram have cracked down pretty hard because most of the people who are currently suffering with them fall into trending and triggering hashtags too often, such as thinspo and diet life. Right. So, but it's like, do I want Instagram policing my shit? Like, what if I have fitspo? What if I am a fitspo?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is that if you're anorexic or dealing with an eating disorder, yanking the platform away, yanking all of the supports away and all that stuff is not going to be the solution.
Right.
It's like, yes, this is self-destructive behavior. It can end in death, but just forcing someone to do something else is not going to work in the long run. If anything, they're going to do it twice as hard. They don't have a
solution. Right. They don't have you didn't give them a solution. You just took away the thing that they had.
Correct. I'm getting angrier than I thought I would.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, as long as you're not angry at me, I don't. You can be angry.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. So I like the previous guest. Like, I feel like each guest has like a certain niche that they fall into, or certain expertise. And so, let me ask you a question. Let me turn the tables. What would you say my niche is?
I say, like, between you and the the niche is like not sugarcoating shit. I still sugarcoat shit, and I've had a little bit of soul searching in terms of like, am I doing it because I want to please people, or am I doing it because that's just my personality and that's how I present things? And I came to the conclusion, see how I turned it around and started talking about myself again anyway? But I came to the conclusion that it wasn't, we just have different presentation styles for it. And I think it's both, you are awesome, like fucking great at creating an environment for people to be able to speak their truth. I am better at creating an environment for people to be able to, like, creating a platform for people to be able to present whatever they want to, specific thing that they want to talk about. Whereas you create a space for people to be like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking right now, let's go. Because I feel like that is a lot, not just SPSM chat, but I feel like that was a lot about, no restraints, the episodes that I had seen. That's kind of how you conduct interviews on the Mxiety. Like, a lot, when you're given the creative freedom, I feel like it's all about giving people the space to be themselves, and that, reducing stigma that way.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky situation, because like it's a fine line, because like I want to be able to, like, here's been my big issue lately, peek behind the curtain, is that I worry that I'm not presenting myself enough. Or let me put it this way.
Kind of presentation? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel like I don't contribute enough. Like, I feel like I lean too much on my co-host and the guest. And of course, the guest is the star. They get the most time. They are the expert, and so on and so forth. But I sometimes feel like I hide behind the other co-host, and like, because I'm running all these different things. I'm switching scenes. I'm putting up prep, all this stuff. Well, So it's just a lot of stuff that I'm focused on, but
Mm-hmm.
I also wish that I was able to contribute more to the discussion. For those who don't know, SPSM chat, it's usually me and 2 or 3 other co-hosts, and then we have a expert guest each week and with a different topic. So I start the show. I kind of help drive the conversation by asking the questions, and then the co-hosts and guests give their response. But by the time everyone gives their response, I don't really have time to give my own response, and
Yeah.
oftentimes I don't,
Right.
just because like my head is like already like on so many other things. I'm also checking Twitter and all the
You
different
don't
live
have your own
streams.
platform. Basically, you created a platform on which you don't have a voice, which is a problem. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, and it's well, it also becomes an identity thing where, well, do I have a voice besides just providing a platform?
For others, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but
So
is there? I think the real question is, if you know what you are, it's a matter of, are you comfortable with it? If you're not comfortable with it, you fucking change it. If you are comfortable with it, then you own it, right? Those are, I feel like those are always the two options. Oh, Krista
yeah.
Marie's
So
here. Hello.
are we? I can't find you on the island.
I don't know where you fucking went. I went to get you a fishing rod and I came back and you were not where I left you.
I'm
Where are
sorry. I'm
you?
sorry. I was just aimlessly walking around
Okay,
because
well
I
now
was
I don't
just
know how to find you.
I'm
Where
by
are you?
like the house that has like the smoke coming out of it, like the orange. You have so
Okay.
much stuff here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been playing for a while. Hold on.
Okay.
Did you cross a bridge somewhere?
Yeah, I got the bolt because I. Okay. Sorry. I'm
Because
not
there's a
playing it
ton of
right.
houses. No, you're fine. Just focus on what you want, and I will provide. I can do the double tasking. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been all over the place. Oh, Krista Marie, please, you're fine. Just talking about struggles
Oh,
and
is Chris
focusing on
there?
recovery, yeah, is a big help. I know in my community I have one loyal viewer who is 5 months clean from self-harm because he was inspired by our own stories of self-harm recovery and our advocacy of finding alternatives and healthy outlets to stress. Yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly, but everybody, you advocate this, right, Rudy? Like you talk. I don't know where the fuck you are, by the way, but you
I'm,
talk a lot about the fact that you want people, when you do speak up, you talk about the fact that you want people to have their own voice. Like everybody is valid, right? We do talk about like, oh, it's cool when we have professionals on, but ultimately, like, we want to hear whoever's story is on, regardless of whether they're a professional or not. And you advocate for that very strongly, but it's really interesting because you're not advocating for that for yourself, in my opinion.
yeah, well, like I said before, like I love finding those diamonds in the rough and just boosting them, amplifying them, because I know once they get that boost, they're just the sky is the limit for them. And so like even people like with Danielle, like no, she wasn't a public figure at all. I'm talking about one of our co-hosts,
Mm-hmm.
and just watching her come out of her shell and being able to contribute, and now like she's got her business page, she's got her TikTok even.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
she's a freaking TikTok star.
yeah, and so just people like that, and Joelle and Hudson, who didn't have a show before, and now they
Right,
can speak their truths,
right.
and we can all like come together and being able to bounce off each other. So we'll have one week where it'll be me, you, and Danielle. Other weeks it'll be me, Joelle, and Hudson, and mix and match. And there'll be times where you host and it'll be 2 other co-hosts, which I always appreciate. I know it's a pain in the
You
ass to like to
no,
take
it's fine.
over and everything, 'cause it's different software and everything, but I'm always so thankful that you do that.
Oh, it's whatever, dude. It's a pain in the ass, but it's like my thing, just like it's your thing, right? Can Rudy
Yeah,
see
yeah.
this chat room? He's not paying attention, so I'm reading stuff out to him. We're trying to we're
Oh, I
trying to
appreciate that.
get Rudy into multitasking one piece at a time. And I have ADHD, so I'm in 4 places, but poor Rudy cannot keep up. And it's not his fault. So
Okay, I'm just gonna go back by Dodo and just
I'll find you
meet
there. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, go to Dodo if you know how to get there.
It's like when you go to like Disneyland or whatever. It's like, okay, if you get lost, here's the meetup spot.
Right. There's the castle. Okay, here you are, hun. Here you are. Woo! All right. Here's a fishing rod for you, bruh.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on. Did you give it to me?
Oh, I can't do it on the. Hold on, I can't do it on the pier. I have to do it here.
Okay.
There you go. There's a fishing rod.
Okay.
It's better than the one you had, by the way. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure Diva's here lurking, but I have a costume for both of you. Aw, Mamo, maybe a little bit later. I'm trying to focus on the interview as much as I can.
Yes,
Rudy, you can't comfortably...
back to the interview.
Rudy, you can't comfortably work in an environment where you feel you don't have your own platform to express yourself. It's your soapbox. Pick up your megaphone sometimes. And Laz says it's hard sometimes with a show of that kind. It sort of doesn't belong to one person, but that also means it sort of belongs to everyone, right? And then Talus added... Krista Marie says, the sky is the limit for you too, though, Rudy. All in caps. Talus says, are you maybe making the panels too formal and you'd like to work in a more informal format than an interview per se? Honestly, I've not watched them. Tally! Okay, come follow me here.
The thing about SPSM chat is that it was started by someone else, a psychologist, a suicide prevention expert, Dr. April Foreman, about 6 years ago, and then she passed it on to someone. That person ran it into the ground, and then I took over, and so it's kind of like we're on borrowed land, so to speak. And so there's a very specific format. As like it's a Twitter chat. It's confusing. What's funny is that the original team, they were like, oh, we're not going to do the Twitter chat anymore and all that stuff. We're just going to go on the T word, and that was the last I'd heard of it.
Oh, shit. Okay. That's funny. But...
Yeah, no, it was so weird. And then it never happened. And then I eventually took over. And so our Twitter chat, though, is usually the most popular way for people to engage. So, but it's also such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Specifically, if he feels like he never had a chance to speak because they'll move on, perhaps front-loading with his story may be an occasional hack. I mean, that's what I do. Like, I will start with, hey, I'm asking you this question because it affects me X way, and it makes me think of this thing. That's one way that you could kind of start sharing your opinion. But I just...
Ew, I gotta write these down.
The Twitter chat is such a pain. It isn't, though. I mean, it's not... So you said it's weird because it's a weird format. This is fucking weird. I'm interviewing you, but I'm talking to people... in a scrolling chat right now who are posting paragraphs for me to read. Like, this is just as confusing as what what SPSM is. SPSM is just the only additional thing there is that it's in multiple places at the same time. Yeah, no,
it's just a lot of work to put together like everything and the graphics and all that stuff, and like making sure it's all uniform and that it all gets scheduled at the right time. And then making sure that the Twitter chat is being monitored while the other live streams are being monitored, making sure the conversation is flowing there on the Twitter chat. For those who don't know, you probably don't know this, SPSM chat was inspired by a much larger Twitter chat called Healthcare Social Media, which was basically like the top doctors would participate in from various fields, not just like suicide or anything like that, or mental health. And so Dr. April Foreman, she was inspired by that because she wanted to do something that she can adapt for her world in suicide prevention. And so begat SPSM chat, and then they added a live streaming format to it, which I believe originally started on Blab, don't ask, and then to Google Hangouts, and then Google Hangouts died, and then I took it over, and now we're on a different platform that's able to multi-stream out to Facebook and Mixer and Periscope and YouTube all at the same time, which is awesome. It's just a lot of moving parts, but it's nice. It's nice that there will be people who are just on Facebook who normally wouldn't ever participate on the Twitter chat because they don't have Twitter, or they don't like Twitter, they don't like Twitter chats. There are people who can discover it on YouTube later on because it's just better to search for it. There's people who are on Mixer who never would have heard of SPSM chat if it weren't for Mixer, and of course you hosting us. And same thing with whatever the hell else we're on. So it's an awesome thing. It's just the when you're constantly, like I was telling someone last week, I feel like I'm like the old school switchboard operator where it's just like all these like moving parts. And so at the end of the day, it's just like, oh, I didn't actually really say that much at all besides like ask the questions and say the catchphrases.
I think, yeah. Marie, do you have white lilacs? I actually don't. I have one. I don't have one I can part with comfortably. I'm sorry.
They said fart with comfortably.
I can fart comfortably whenever I feel like it. Thank you very much. All right, can you follow me finally?
Who's that? Oh, sorry.
That's one of my villagers. You can talk to her if you want.
Oh, okay. No, I thought someone had entered.
Nope, this is a villager.
Canberra. You're visiting.
Oh, I wasn't
him,
asking
right?
for them. It's just neat. Oh, I'll show you. Hold on, I'll show you.
Yes. So, any more questions?
Yeah, I have a shitload of questions. I'm just trying to balance it out with our gameplay. And if anybody else has any questions, ask them please in chat. Go for it. Rudy, follow me. Rudy, follow me. I want to show the Laz all my flowers.
Yes, that's the real main event.
Yeah. So I do not run across the flowers. You will trample them, but you can walk through them gently. So I have black tulips.
I didn't know that happened.
Do you want a black tulip? They're hybrids, so they're super rare, but I have a bunch, so you can have this one. Do you have a shovel?
Sure, I have to swap it out for something, but...
Why are you carrying a bunch of shit? Do you need to sell stuff? Because you can go to my store and sell.
Oh, yeah. I'll do that later. I just, I haven't played in a few days, so let me get rid of these. Are wood eggs, or let me get rid of the softwood. Okay. All
right. Do you have a... No!
No! What
did
I do?
No, you pluck them. You were supposed to shovel them out. When you pluck them, you don't get them now. No, well, you can still get... You can dig them out, but now they have to, like, grow back, basically.
Oh, okay.
All right, do you have a shovel?
Yes.
Okay, because I cannot give you one of these. You have to do it yourself. So take a shovel.
Oh, I have to... It says you can only use this tool when you're on a best friends island.
Oh, you didn't add me as a best friend.
Oh, hold on. Talk about moving
Human
parts.
chew toys. That's crazy, Moop. I'm so excited you got those. I love you guys.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to accept or ask for help if you want things to look a certain way. It's nerve-wracking to trust other people to keep your vision. I get it. Exactly. But at some point, like, I guess it sounds like you need a production manager. Well, that's kind of what Krista Marie is. I also got a Tom Nook
she's awesome.
Crossing. Yeah. Right. Okay. There you go. You did it.
Yay.
But you picked up the tulips, so now you don't have room, so you have to throw something else out.
Oh, awesome. This is anxiety inducing. We have to make a choice of what to get rid of. Oh, I'm not going to bury it in your hole, though.
No, don't bury it in my hole. That's what she said. But don't bury it in my hole.
Jesus. Thank you. I appreciate that. Can I then give them to Joelle now?
What? The flowers? So
yeah.
You can give Joelle the flowers you plucked, but the flowers that the other ones, plant them and then they'll grow. You can have more of them then. If you plant them and water them, more will grow.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
There you go. I'm gonna take your hardwood in front of your wife and your softwood also in front of your wife within reason.
Awesome.
Awesome.
You can't use emoji in the Twitter in the Nintendo chat app.
You can't.
That is sad.
Come follow me so I can show you where the store is so you can buy shit.
Okay.
And sell shit. Okay. Okay, this way. Okay.
All right. I don't know why I'm trying to go ahead of you.
Okay, this way. So now you go over here and you press and you jump. Just press forward and press.
Oh, this is just jump? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't
There
even
you
know.
go.
Oh, okay. I
Just
thought you
hopped
needed the
over.
bolt.
Yeah, if
Okay.
it's small enough. When you have the island for long enough, you can terraform. That's the store. Where are you going? This is the store. I'll give you back your softwood and hardwood once you sell stuff and make room.
Thank you.
We have an understanding. Wink. That can have the pine but not the maple. Oh my god, you guys are terrible. I would say graphic depictions, especially if specific people are not okay. Clamshell packaging. You guys are terrible. He probably still has the 10. He might. Well, that's why I'm explaining to him. I'm trying to be patient.
Yeah, be patient with me. I am by no means a pro. Although I was watching a video on YouTube about how to like use like a turbo button on a controller to just like totally automate a lot of stuff.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay, I just barely found out that you can sell multiple things at the same time. So that's how lame I am.
That's not lame. You're just a little behind. Everybody plays at their own pace. You're so mean to yourself, Rudy. Sheesh. You're not getting an emotional cookie today. We hand out emotional cookies on this channel. You're not getting any until you're nice.
Okay, do I need the pink umbrella?
No. Don't buy a fucking pink umbrella. Don't do it. I don't buy any of the umbrellas.
I had like 40,000 bells, and so I just like bought everything from the store, not even like knowing if it was good or not.
I don't know anything about automating stuff, Laz. So I honestly wouldn't know.
Well, I have a controller that you can assign a turbo button to. So basically you press a button once, like the digging button, and then it just keeps pressing it like 5 or 10 times or so.
Huh.
And then you can create macros where you press one button and it like takes the place of like 10 other buttons in a sequence.
That's boring though. Why would you play like that? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't do that, but it's definitely out there. So if anyone wants to do that, just know that there are ways. Trust me.
There is a way.
Do you know the original Animal Crossing for GameCube had like these Easter eggs where you can play like original NES and Super Nintendo games?
Oh, that's cute. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was like the only place where you can find those games on that generation to play. That was before the virtual console and everything, and it wasn't as easy to find like an NES. So that was really cool. But when they
Bank.
Okay, so what am I doing now?
You're gonna follow me out. Chill. I gotta give you your wood back. Unless you want to sell it. I can't give it to you here. We gotta do it outside.
Okay. They're so nice.
I'm trying to help. Is there other stuff I can give you, like that you don't have?
Do I have the bug catcher? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let me just say this. I have the slingshot, I have the fishing rod, I have the bolting pole, I have the axe, I have the flimsy net, the ladder, the shovel, the water
So you have everything. You have everything.
Okay. So I'm assuming like you can get a lot more advanced in even how you have now. Like, have you seen?
Oh yeah, mine is not. Mine is not that cool. Even there is a lot of crazy stuff.
But did you add all this marble, like on the ground?
Yes. Yeah. That's when you get to terraform. You get to put stuff like that down.
Oh, okay.
I'm not the sweetest. Why are you talking about me? Rudy is the guest. Say nice things about Rudy.
If you want.
No.
Oh, you got the Mxiety flag too? Oh man, I feel like such a noob.
Wait, come back and get your wood. God damn it. Why?
Oh, sorry.
It's just sitting here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your Rudy is the second sweetest. Tally, that's good to know. He's an Orweaver. Oh, interesting.
Sorry, Talus, for always spamming the comments with stickers.
Talus, yeah. I have really good mods. That's all I can say. Like, tomorrow we're doing the Upliftathon. I am blessed with the mods that I have to be able to pull that shit off. That is going to be...
Cool. Okay, so next question.
Yeah.
You ready?
Fish. And I'm ready for your question if you fish.
Oh no, I think you were going to ask me a question. Sorry, I
You
accidentally
stole my flowers again, son of a gun.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm trying to be nice. You're eating all my fucking resources. You're liked whether you like it or not. All right, so my next question, you're asking that I get to ask the questions? This is my show? I forgot. All right, so
yes, please ask me.
Okay, so my next question to you is honestly, I'm trying to figure out, like, are you just... Because it seems like you're just a little bit lost about your purpose as in SPSM chat. Is that what you're saying?
I definitely know what I'm good at and what I'm bad at, but I want to do more experimentation. So I think the cool thing about Mixer is that there's no, like for SPSM chat, there's no history. So there's more room to explore. So I'd love to do more original content specific to Mixer.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm muddying the waters with experimenting
Somebody
on
else,
Twitter. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the root of SPSM chat is just being able to have a platform where people can talk about suicide in a productive way that is people being honest, but is also well informed. So it's not just people just bullshitting.
Right.
So I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like you and Hudson, because especially Hudson. Let's be honest. This guy will
he's a walking
studies
encyclopedia
off the top of his head.
Off the top of his
and so that's what I love. If you watch the original SPSM chat, like everyone there has got like PhDs and MDs and all this stuff, and so they can just like cite like legal articles and all this stuff. And so that was like one of the things that I was really afraid of at first. Like I didn't even want to participate like as on the Twitter chat back when it was the original gang, because I was like, I'm just some guy. Like I don't have any letters at the end of my name. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I don't want to speak out of turn.
Right. I feel that though. I had that I had that like whole imposter syndrome feeling. I get it. But I mean, aren't you forgot to not direct to Rudy? Wait, what? Time to make it your own then. You can't work on someone else's format if it's not you. Thank you, E-Wizard. It has to change the way... Oh, can we get a shout out to Lekka K? I don't know if she's still here. I feel really bad we didn't shout her out, and she rated us with a bunch of people. If it's not you, it has to change your way of thinking. It should work, or it's just not going to become a chore. Right. Yes, that is a concern I have. And Laz, thank you so much for that compliment to my mods. They deserve every ounce of credit. But that is definitely something that I was thinking about you too, Rudy. Like I don't know why you're so, I think it's part of this imposter syndrome thing that you're dealing with, that you're so afraid, because you know what your strengths are, but you're like afraid to pull them out at SPSM. Like you're definitely, I don't think you don't know when to insert your opinion. I think you're not comfortable doing it, and that says more about the fact that we need to get you comfortable, like opening up on SPSM chat. Right?
Yes, that is your job, Marie.
My job. Okay, no problem. All right. No problem. Don't fucking tempt me. Cuz I will. All right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I think cuz it's hard knowing, I don't know. It's always hard knowing where the line is, but I think it says volumes that you said you feel like you're in somebody else's house. Oh my goodness, she said a swear word. It's 18 plus. Sweet Justice, hi. Yeah, I feel like the fact that you said like this is my house is definitive of the whole experience. I think that's what's pulling you back. You know what you do effectively. You know, I know you asked me, but I also know that you just know what you do effectively, because you're very fucking... One of the things that I admire greatly about you is your confidence. So I know you know what you need to do. It's just a matter of you being comfortable enough doing it. And if you can't be comfortable doing it in SPSM chat, maybe it's time to just do your own thing. Does it have to be related to SPSM at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I actually left my previous show that I hosted by myself on Facebook, No Restraints. And actually at the time, like at least on Facebook, there was no other mental health talk show. Like, and this, I mean, so it's nice to know that there's a greater world, whether it be on the T Word or on Mixer, that there are these shows where people talk about mental health, and it's great. There's a lot of engagement. There's good stuff going on, and it's well done. It's not just like amateur hour. So it's, I mean, that's the reason why I connected with you. I know I'm kind of like going like off, like I'm gonna return, but that was one of the things that like really struck me about you. It's like, oh, like, but you are my people. Like I've been trying to find people who had talk shows that were talking about mental health.
Right.
And so it's been nice, but yeah. And the thing I love, so I put that show on ice, I guess you can say, because I wanted to devote all my focus to SPSM chat and making this as big of a success as possible. So, and I love my team. I love my co-host. I love the regulars who participate on the live stream, on the Twitter chat.
So why are you afraid to open up then?
You know, that's a good question, and you are asking the tough questions right now.
Ooh, I did it. He told me to ask him tough questions. I did it. Yeah, okay, good. So.
Yeah, no, I think it just goes back to me wanting to make sure others have time to speak their truths, and also like wanting to make sure I don't say anything stupid.
Okay, but other people say stupid shit, and do you judge them for it? I say stupid shit on that show all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I say shit that I'm like, why did I don't know if that sentence even made sense.
That's so funny.
You've made me feel very safe on that show. You've made me feel like I can't mess up. Honestly. That's a huge testament to you.
That's when people can thrive the most.
Right.
Where it's like basically like it's easy.
Right.
It's not easy, but it feels like you have that freedom that you can just like shoot from the hip and everything rolls smoothly. Like, yeah, things could get messy. Like, you don't always like say things the most eloquently, but it's just fun. The subject matter is not always fun, of course, but you just really feel it. It's like, I mean, I come from a background of theater, so if I'm doing a role where it's like a tragedy and people are dying and everything, very intense scene. But if I know that I'm playing my role the best and the audience is in the palm of my hand, there's just no better feeling than that. It just feels fun. It feels it feels moving. It feels like
it doesn't sound like you have that at SPSM. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like there's definitely times where we have our duds.
Sure.
For various reasons. Sure. But for the most part, after the show is over, I'm just like, oh, that feels so good. I want to do it again. And as long as I have that feeling, I could keep doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Talus says, honestly, Rudy, if you really screw up, your mods will pull you up anyway. Or I guess co-hosts in this case. That will give you a chance to backtrack. It's part of the mod's job to protect you from you at times as well. Well, if you had moderators in a live stream, right. But he does have a producer and he has 3 other co-hosts, and like, we'll call you out on your shit if you're actually fucking up. We're not the people that are gonna be not calling you out on your shit, right? Hudson will call you out. You know, Joelle will call you out. So I think it's just a matter of you regaining your confidence and believing in the fact that like, okay, I've given everybody else a platform. It's time for me to take my space. Like, you deserve the space as much as you give it to everybody else.
I could probably afford MySpace at this point.
There you go. Maybe I even can too, but not with my student loans. What are you fishing for right now? Show me, Rudy. What are you fishing for?
Well, I was trying to take your fish that you were trying to fish for, but then we both lost it.
All right, come here. Let's go find another fish. Follow me up this ramp.
I heard Joelle laughing in the bedroom, so I must have said something funny.
That's the other thing is, at one point, you have to figure out what's more important to you, sharing your story or running the show effectively. You can't really do both. You have to let go of certain things, right? There's no fish here.
Yeah.
So you either have to just let the production run and it'll fuck up and you have to be cool with that, or you have to run the production and be the host and own that host role as somebody that's like, all right, I'm the host. I don't get the space, but I give other people the space. And you do that super effectively. So there's nothing wrong with picking either role for you.
Well, thank you. Let me ask you a question,
Sure.
Marie.
Yeah.
When I first asked you to be a co-host for SPSM Chat, were you nervous? Did you feel like you weren't sure what you were taking on? Like it might be too much, or did you feel like this might be like a super temporary thing? Chat me up.
Okay. Was I'm taking a lot on? Yes. Was definitely, but you know how much I do. You know? So that's a little bit different. Like, am I taking too much on? Yes. Should I be? No. But that's like my problem. I don't have to say yes if I wasn't comfortable, right? Like ultimately. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Do I want to quit sometimes? Yes. It has nothing to do with you or any other co-host. You guys are the people who keep me on. It's just because sometimes I'm like, this is too much. I can't do it. And then I remember that like I can step back and I can step back in when I need to. And then in terms of, what was your other question?
No, just say, you kind of answered it. You know, it's funny because when I talked to Dr. Foreman about taking over the show, she was like, yeah, you need like 2 or 3 co-hosts, but expect them all to leave you after a couple of months. And so it's nice that all these months later, we're almost a year and we're still the original crew. I had no clue how long this would last. Like April at first, she was like, oh, like that's totally fine if like you want to like have someone else take over after a few months.
Mm-hmm. Isn't this cool? Oh man, Flick is still here and I just sold bugs for so cheap. God damn it. I didn't know he would be hanging out here. Flick is the one you sell bugs to for extra expensive. Anyway, so this is my little zen area, so you can sit on this pillow and I'll sit on this pillow. And we can just like look out into the sky. And life is good.
Can I bounce on it?
You can bounce on it.
How do you bounce again?
You kind of just push yourself back. Or like scoot around.
Oh, there we go. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm just glad that all these months later, we're kicking ass, we're all together, we all support each other. Like for me, like that's what I love the most. Like you were saying, like yeah, it can be overwhelming and all these things going on, but like it's my co-hosts, it's the regulars who really motivate me to keep going forward. And that's probably the proudest thing I'm proudest the most of.
That's awesome.
Is uniting all of us, me, you, Joelle, Hudson, Krista, Danielle, and like some of our guests that we've had on that have been part of our inner circle. I love that. I'm so glad. Like I love it. That's one of my biggest joys in life is being able to like say like you're friends now, and it actually works.
I have to say the reason I'm smiling like a dork, other than I'm just a dork, is because when you last year when you were on, one of the questions that you asked me that struck me was, how do you keep doing this? Because I'm so burnt out, and you were so burnt out on your show. And I answered what you just said. I said it's the community and the people who are here, who rely on me to be here continuously, who expect me to be here, who want me to be here for them. Like that brings me back because it's about something bigger than just me. And you literally just kind of said that verbatim. So that's why I'm like, I wish I had the clip to like play back to you and be like, you found it. You found it, dude.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. It really does help me. Reminds me that what I'm doing is very important and has a positive impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything else going good on the chat?
Yeah, chat's been good. It's a little bit slowed down, but it's good. Well, it's good that you don't get too attached thing. Right. It's very good that he was able to get past that threat. You don't always match how it goes. Right, that's true. And we were listening, right. We were kind of going off a little bit. I've even pulled Em up for having a booger before. She knows I'm not going to leave her for something going on that's stupid or out of line. Right, I actually disagree a bit. It's not either or judging it before, during, or knowing what the balance is going to be. There are days when you just don't want to chat much. Bliffle, can you elaborate on that a little bit? I would love to kind of hear more of that point.
I'm just going to give all my responses through Animal Crossing chat.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I've had you on for a while, and I misread it. I'm sorry. I'm a dingus. All right, I actually disagree a bit. It's not either or. It's judging it before / during and knowing that the balance is what the balance is probably going to be. Ah, got it. It's about finding the balance as you go. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Great comments. I always appreciate your chat. You have one of the most well-educated, sophisticated chats on Mixer.
It's truth. It's the truth, everybody. It's the truth.
Yes. No, I mean, sorry. Like, I know I'm the guest, but like, can I ask you another question?
Yeah, go knock yourself out.
Do you have long-term plans?
Yes and no. So on one hand, I'm like, in my personal life, I do. Like, I want to have a kid. We're moving into a house that we bought. Like, you know, I don't have plans for my career, though, outside of what I'm doing right now and my 9-to-5 currently. Like, my 9-to-5, if I'm totally honest, is a dead-end job. What keeps me going is this on top of the 9-to-5. Like, what the 9-to-5 affords me to do with this without saying too much. You know, the fact that this basically is supported by my 9-to-5, right? Like, I would be a lot more destitute if this was just my only income and stuff. And so the 9-to-5 affords me that, and it also gives me space to get content and stuff because I am a medical editor. So do I have long-term ideas? Yes. I sit down every year and write down plans for that specific year and like plans for the next, like what I think I'll do in the next 2 years. But, and I know, I don't know, I can be totally, I don't know how candid you want me to be, because I do have like a dream of what I wish it would be like, but I don't know that I'll be able to get there just from the realism of what this industry is, you know?
As a streamer?
As a streamer, yeah. That's why my 9-to-5 is like old reliable. It might be boring and it might be a dead-end job, but like it's gonna be there for sure. Project management.
Now, do you feel like because your topic is mental health, do you feel like that's limiting as far as like being like this like big mainstream streamer?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. On some days I do and on some days I don't, but mostly like just logically people see mental health. You know this. People see mental health and they're like, oh, you know, which is what we're fighting against. But I definitely, yeah, because I see other people who end up talking about mental health topics, but they just don't put the label mental health on their chat, you know, and they get huge and they have tens of thousands of subscribers and stuff. But then I see them being like, here's time for me to open up and talk about the reality of my life. And I'm like, you're having a mental chat right now, mental health chat. And people are like, oh my God, you're so open and honest. I'm so happy that you're here and be able to talk about your life. People need to hear this. And I'm like, hello, I do this every every day, 3 days a week. What the fuck? You know? So, like, part of me wants to, like, if I'm completely candid, part of me wants to be like, I feel like this should be bigger, because every time I see people talking about, like, oh, we really need this, I'm like, yeah, you have it. You have it. You just, when you see it packaged this way, you don't want it. So on one hand, yes. On the other hand, I feel like I'm also happy with my slow and steady growth, because it is slow and steady and I can consistently see improvement. I might have not blown up overnight, but I also don't have people sending me death threats over Twitter because I have 12,000 followers and they feel intimidated by that or whatever shit. Like, I've seen people blow up overnight and then their life is just hell, you know? So, yes and no. That was a lot.
Well, do you feel like, because you had mentioned the other streamers where they don't label it a mental health stream, but they're obviously talking about their mental health, and
Right.
others are opening up in the stream. Do you feel like if you were to try something similar like that, what would you think the result would be? Like, you just rebranded yourself and you weren't like the mental health streamer.
I kind of tried that, but one, it wasn't my thing. It very quickly became obvious to me that I was trying to do something that I wasn't. But it also helped lend me into the place where it turned out I did want to be. Like, I didn't realize that I wanted to do, like, positive news and talk about the news in general. And I started doing that as a result of, like, hey, I don't know what else to do with this mental health content, so I'm going to try this thing. And I'm going to expand my mental health content. And in some ways I have. Like, it's not just, that's why I've talked to people who are, you know, bigger even in the mental health community, like big YouTubers and stuff. And a lot of them have found success, I think, because they are very niche, right? Like, they'll talk about specifically bipolar. They'll talk about ADHD. They'll talk about depression. So when somebody comes to their show or whatever, they know exactly what to expect. Whereas when they come here week to week, they might not necessarily know. So I don't know. That's another thing that's, like, in my head. Like, maybe if I was more specialized, actually, I would get better traction, quote unquote. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's there's no easy answer, because the answer is to not just be like everyone else.
Right.
Like, you're not going to have a good time if you look at another streamer and be like, okay, well, if I replicate what they're doing.
Right. Yeah. That's not going to be great. I think that your confidence went up once you changed the way you streamed a bit. You do know more of what you want than trying to stick to a fixed show content format. It's true. Like, I still have it. It's pretty scheduled in terms of, like, Tuesdays we do this, right? Like, Wednesdays we do this. It's very clear what we do on a day-to-day basis. So that hasn't changed. But I think just general mental health. I mean, something's not fully there. Like, I haven't blown up. So that's, like, kind of obvious. I don't know. Does that bum you out, dude? Like, that like you didn't, or do you feel like, no, I have made it where I want to be?
Well, I don't know, like, I'm always like grass is greener type of person. So
Yeah.
up until very recently, I wanted to be like the biggest public speaker in the world, like making like 10, 20 grand a speech.
Right.
But like I said, like, that's also can be limiting, because the
Right.
people who make that type of money are the type of people who have like a very narrow narrative.
Right.
What the people with the big money want.
Right.
So you know your audience, but then, like, I wasn't feeling, I don't know, I was feeling kind of icky.
Try to catch this fish.
Feeling like that.
Get it.
Like, I don't want to be an inspirational speaker or inspirational at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've always felt uncomfortable doing that. And that's the thing about doing this show, is that I love being able to laugh, to be able to joke about suicide and not take ourselves too seriously.
You missed it.
Because it's already a dark enough subject. I mean,
Right.
like, we're not going to go making fun of the situation or
Sure.
making fun of suicidal people. But if we don't laugh at ourselves and laugh at just the absurdity of the world sometimes, then it's not a show I want to do.
But
it's like how I mentioned one time, like I don't do SPSM chat to quote unquote save lives or give people hope. That happened as a byproduct. That's totally fine. Like I've gotten messages like that where it's like, this has given me life. Like I look forward to it every Sunday, but I don't go out of my way to make it like that, if that makes any sense. Like I'm not
right.
trying to be Mr. Inspirational and doing all this stuff and like
But
talking in that like specific tone.
you don't think mental health content naturally lends itself to that, or that's what you're talking about in terms of narrative? Like that's the narrative you're trying to avoid.
Yeah, like I feel, oh, I almost got that fish, damn it. I feel like a lot of mental health speakers and content creators, they have to speak about it, mental health and suicide, in like very like a PSA tone. Really, it's like that.
I haven't
Like
found that. Maybe I'm doing it already, but I don't feel that. I don't.
no,
I feel like I've been
definitely
successfully combating that. I guess.
no,
Like, as I
definitely,
feel what you're
well,
feeling.
yeah, like I wouldn't have wanted you to be a co-host if you were that type of person. So I appreciate you, and so I feel like it's getting better. It's just it's because like obviously like you wanted to it's easy to fall into that hole where it's like, oh, we're talking about mental health, we're talking about suicide, that's serious stuff. So you
Good
have to,
job. You got a fish
thank
finally.
you. So you have to be super serious and carry
Right.
yourself in a certain way. Otherwise, people are going to like think that you're making light of the situation, you're insensitive and all this stuff.
Right. Or you're a bummer. There's definitely a fine line there that sucks.
Yeah. So I love my co hosts. I love the regulars who get it, who are not offended, who are like they're in on the joke
Right.
and but also are smart as hell who just have so much value to offer. So it's definitely a fine line. I'm sure there have been times where I've rubbed people the wrong way and all this stuff. I mean, I know I have.
Whatever.
So
Yeah, but whatever. Everybody does that. I rub people the wrong way. Everybody does that.
yeah, so I mean that's the thing about being a content creator, being a live streamer is it's inevitable. If
Yeah.
you're 100% honest with yourself, 100% yourself, you're you're gonna have
Why don't we
haters.
go
You're
into
gonna
the
have
museum?
all this. Yeah. So, as cliche as it sounds, like I'd rather people hate me for who I am than love me for who I'm not.
No, but I like that. But so you don't think you can find that in public speaking is what you're saying?
No, I can. It's just it's like I'm probably not going to be making like 10 grand a speech unless I was
Sure.
like already a celebrity for something else. So
Right.
not I mean not saying that like I need to make that much money. It's like I have other ways to make money, but
No,
it
no,
there's
but I think what you're saying makes a ton of sense. It's basically the equivalent of me saying like I would like to do this full time, but that's not what it is because of what I want it to be. This is what I want it to be, and that's not going to make money, and have to be content with that. Does that make sense? Is that what you're saying, kind of?
yes, it's just when I feel like I can't 100% be myself, then it's just like that paralysis through analysis and
Yeah,
overthinking it and
yeah,
just censoring yourself.
yeah.
Like a quick story, I like to tell this when I'm doing public speaking. Actually, I was doing a musical one time in college, and I was having a great time. It was like one of those things where I had like a teeny bit role, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna own this. I'm gonna steal the show every night, and
Awesome.
without like sabotaging things or like like the really assholey things.
Sure.
But the director, when she was giving her notes the night after, she was like giving all the positive feedback, all the negative feedback, and everything. Brutally honest director, both good and bad. And so she was like, Rudy, like you're really good. You're really in the moment. It's like a totally like really super theater term. You got to be in the moment. Like
Right.
yeah, but like you're a little bit too in the moment. And at the time, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
Right.
so it was just like that's how I feel about life a lot of times, where like I'm like doing my best to give it my all to 100% like to live life by my own terms. But and this is also a bipolar thing as well, like trying to go from one extreme to the other. And for me, mania has always been like trying to be the person that I want to be, but then going off the deep end, and then like when I get that reality check, it's like, oh, like I'm not as great as I thought I was, and then going into the depression. I don't really have those mood swings right now. I haven't had them for a few years, but that's how I've seen bipolar, as this vicious cycle of wanting to be the person that I know I'm meant to be, and then not being able to reach that impossible standard, and then sinking back into depression, and so on and so forth.
Got it. But see, I always thought in order to be happy and content and to have, decent handle over your mental health issues, you need to be, I don't know, you need to be comfortable with who you are. And I always felt like you have that. Like, I feel like you have that figured out. That's been my vision of you. Like, that's stuff that I look up to you for. It's like, I want to be as comfortable in my own skin as Rudy is, or as Rudy shows himself to be.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like that's why I said, like, if I didn't have that feeling, it's like, oh, like after a show, like, oh my God, like I just want to keep doing this, and like just like it's like that. It's like that same kind of thrill that I would get after coming from off stage from doing a show, where it's like, oh man, I completely kicked ass. So if I have that feeling after a live stream, then I must be doing something right. I must be on the right wavelength. So, but like I said, I'm that kind of person that the grass is always greener. Yeah, this is good, but what if I did this thing that's like completely different? Like, wouldn't that be better?
But I mean, you can always try new shit, right? Like, this is your side gig. There's nothing to lose with your side gig.
Yes, no, you're right, and that's why I enjoy talking to you, because like you get it. Like, we have similar kind of platforms, similar kind of passions, and so it's very rewarding to be able to talk to you and be able to get your perspective on things that even other people with the best intentions, the most compassionate people in the world, just don't quite understand it on the same level as someone who is currently living it. Yeah, obviously, like, there's a lot about us that is different. But as far as being mental health live streamers and dealing with that self-doubt and wanting to reach the next level constantly and wanting to do great things in the world and engage with people, like, there's very few people that I can actually have that conversation with and feel like it's a mutual give and take.
Dude. That's an honor to hear you say that and to know that you feel that way. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm glad that you allowed me to be on this show. Like, I feel like this
is allowed. Come on. Like, I want to have you on. It was just I stopped. People know I don't normally have 2 guests a night, but I was like, I gotta get this guy on. How do we get him on? And we did. So
I know. I thought you were gonna like tell me like 4 weeks from now, because I reached out to you like a week and a half ago. Right. So I was expecting like sometime in May or June, because I think that's like originally when we first connected, like it took a few months. So I was shocked. I was like, oh shit, I got to start like playing this game now.
Well, because usually for first time, let me be clear. For first time guests, I like to give like a focused full episode on just that person, right? So I will do like I'll do the social media campaign around them and stuff, and I'll make sure that in order to give you that separate time, I book things out up to 2 months in advance. So that's why it might take like 2 months before we end up chatting, especially somebody who I don't know as much, right? And at the time we really didn't know each other. But like, now that I know you and I know what to expect and I know what kind of show I'm going to have, and I know maybe I'm being too pragmatic about this. I hope you don't think I'm too like flippant, but I know what kind of show I'm going to get when I have you on, and I'm more comfortable. I don't have to like put on my director's pants to talk to you, like, so it's a lot easier for me to be like, yeah, I know we'll have this conversation at this time, versus being like, all right, I have to prepare, I have to study this person, everything, so I'm going to do that 2 weeks from now or whatever, you know? Moop, I've
Yeah,
been playing for a
definitely.
month, bro.
Yeah, no, it was good. It's good content. I actually have to go back. I've never watched the first interview that we did. I know it's on YouTube somewhere, so
It
it'd be
is,
nice
right? Hold
to.
on. Is it? Yeah, I'll look it up later. I'm sure it is to see the contrast.
Yes. Oh, well, let me ask you another question.
Sure.
When have you always had the interview format? Like I haven't. I don't know like how long exactly. Because like I know you have stuff on YouTube that goes back a little bit, but I know there's a lot more than that. So what did the original format look like?
Shit. The original format was me making um making crafts and talking about mental health. So I'd research a topic and then I would do a craft and I would talk about mental health while I do it. And after a while, I realized that A, I never finished the craft because I would be too distracted talking about the mental health topic. And B, I sucked at crafts. Like, and I'm not saying that to get a compliment. Some people aren't meant to make shit, and I'm one of those people. Like, I'm good at painting a wall, but I can't sit there and like in intricate detail make something that'll look nice. And it's okay. I'm comfortable with that. Like, that's cool. But that was a realization I had to come to, and then I was like, how do I change this format? And I actually at the time talked to Ashley Christ, and she's like, maybe do research live. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when it came to interviews, I tried to schedule them as frequently as I could, but at the time it was just my friends who would come over to my house, and then eventually I started slowly getting people, so that was kind of wild too. But that's how.
Now, when you were first starting out, did you have a lot of streams where it was just 0 viewers?
uh I remember, and I've written about this, I remember the exact episode where I started crying on stream because nobody was there, and I was just like, why the fuck am I doing this? It was probably like 2-3 weeks into it, and I was like, why the fuck am I doing it? Like, nobody gives a shit. Nobody wants to hear your story. Nobody cares about mental health. Like, you're just gonna be sitting at the bottom of this and pushing constantly. Like, this is such an uphill battle. I don't want to fucking Sisyphean thing here. And I started like tearing up because I was doing research and I was talking to myself and nobody was there. And then somebody popped into chat, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Joey Splats, who's still a viewer. Um, and we just talked, and he asked me what I was doing, and I explained what I was doing, and we just like kept going from there. And yeah, so there were streams to 0 people, and usually those are the streams you want to quit. And that being said, like, I sometimes feel, okay, I gotta say this in the right way, but do you ever sometimes feel like you're streaming to 0 people even though you know you have a good audience? Like that same like tightness in your chest of like, oh shit, nobody's showing up for this comes up even though you have like 20 people watching. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I actually felt like that on my last Mighty stream where I was streaming the game Flower, and they actually had a live stream a couple hours before mine that had like 200 plus live viewers, which is like the Mighty has like over a million
Right.
followers on just its
Right.
main page alone, but with live streaming that's considered still good. Um, like to have two like oftentimes like it's much lower, especially now that it's a long story, but when I was playing, like as I was going along, like it was like down to like 14 viewers. So
Oh.
for a page that has over a million followers, that's pretty bad. And I'm
Yeah.
like playing this thing, and thankfully, like Joelle and Krista, they were commenting as well, so that helped. But I'm just like, what am I doing?
Right. Right.
So, or it's like even when I was interviewing Maria Bamford for the Mighty in person, face to face, like I thought, like this is gonna make my career. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
I
like,
thought so too. She's so big in mental health and stuff. And so it didn't. Sorry, I interrupted you.
no, like it was like we had less viewers than I've had with some people that were just like my friends. So I
Wow.
mean, it's like I can't like always blame myself for that. Sometimes the Facebook gods like frown upon you, and there's just not a
Yeah.
lot you can do about that. So, but yeah, no, there have been other times like that where like I've gotten a really big guest, and like I'm like, okay, I can write my own checks from now on, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So are there times where we're doing SPSM chat and I don't think you can see this, but I see the combined viewership and I just see it going down, like, and it's just like, oh God, like it's almost like people are judging you in real time. So each time you lose a viewer, it's like, well, I must have said something people didn't like then.
But that's not it at all. But I totally feel that way too. But that's not how it works at all, right? Like, because people leave for 40,000 reasons, and none of them necessarily have to do with you. Braving Warrior, thank you so much for that host. Yeah, that's why watching the numbers it's such a scary game potentially, and so delicious.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like you got to get the numbers. You got to keep improving.
Right, but that's exactly it. That's the balance where people are like, "Don't watch the numbers," and I'm like, "But how do you think we're gonna get sponsors so I can keep doing this?" Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess, like, what you want to do is making sure you get the right numbers. So people who actually give a shit are going to comment, who are going to leave sparks and embers and everything like that. And so, like, there are plenty of streamers where they're making six figures, but only get like a couple hundred concurrent viewers.
Right.
So,
right.
Because they're so invested. And then but that's a conversation for a different day. But yeah, I totally get like that. Like I don't ever feel like I'm going to do a live stream where no one's going to watch, because I've just been doing this long enough, so people like know that like I'm not trash. So, but yeah, it still affects me. I remember one time where the original SPSM chat team took over for a week, and they like quadrupled, extupled like the viewership for that week, and like I took that so personal at the time, but it was a special circumstances. So it was talking about a very newsworthy subject matter. So, but like I was reading tweets by people where it's like, oh, I haven't been watching since their original team. I'm glad they're back and everything. Like this is my first time participating in SPSM chat in so long.
Oh, that hurts though. Like yeah, I mean, you asked me the question, and I think I already answered it. But to kind of reiterate, like, yeah, that hurts. Seeing people leave that are regulars not come back. You think about that a lot. You think about how, like, you could have, what did you say? What did you do? What you could have done differently? All those things. I totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, another issue I'm running into now is I'll have individuals reach out to me, people who are regulars, and just saying, I don't like the way you're doing the show.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've had guests, previous guests saying like, I don't like the way you did the show.
Oh, okay. Well, how about you suck it? Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's I guess that's I don't know, like it's constantly, no matter what stage you are in your streaming career, you're gonna get different kinds of haters. So when you're first starting out, it's all about like, oh, I lost one viewer when I only had two,
right,
or and things like that, or not having no viewers, or someone randomly saying this sucks, to where like you get to a point where like your regulars, people who've been following you for a while, just you have a falling out, and it's just sad because that one person means so much more than 10 randos.
It's true. Bliffle is saying, I perpetually forget people care that I'm around. And like when Bliffle's not around, I notice, and then I try not to like, because I don't want to be the person that's like, why weren't you here? Because I don't want to make it sound like somebody ever is obliged to be here. And like there's thousands of reasons. Like maybe they had a family thing, maybe they were doing something else. But there is definitely a part of me that's like, oh my God, could I have done something to make sure that they're here? Because they mean so much to me, and they'll never, like, they might not know that. I don't know.
Oh, I have another question, Marie.
Go for it.
So how, because I have noticed that when you're doing the interview shows, especially when you have another Mixer streamer who has a large following, like your viewership numbers go up like exponentially.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like like if you were to just do the Marie show, like do you feel like that would hurt things in the long run or even immediately?
Not anymore. I used to feel that for sure, but now that I have 3 different formats of show, right? So Tuesdays I do interviews, Wednesdays we do discussions, and Thursdays we do gaming. And I see the different audiences come for each of those, and they come for me. There was definitely a point where I started gaming because I was vehemently against gaming at all. And then I like slowly picked it up, and I was like, I'm not going to game because I can't game. And people just want to watch you doing, my moderators were like, people just want to watch you doing whatever the fuck. Like, just, people want to see you. And I couldn't believe that for a very long time. And then the numbers kind of proved it. And I also feel like, in general, things have been very different on Mixer. And the audience is very different on Mixer than I ever got on Twitch. Like, people who watch me on Mixer stick around to watch more of me and come back day by day. And that happened on Twitch, but not at the same rate.
No, it was definitely a wise decision. It was a big risk.
It was a huge risk. That was terrifying.
Yeah, it paid off, and that's another one of the things I like about you is that, like, I know you're very hard on yourself. I know you have a lot of imposter syndrome, but the fact that you're able to like rise above that and get shit done, have accomplishments, like keep reaching these higher levels, like that's very, very noteworthy. You should really be commended for that because it's very easy to fall into that trap of learned helplessness and just constantly being woe is me and not actually like moving forward. But you're the type of person where you're wrestling with these issues. It sucks dealing with the anxiety and depression and everyone hates me, I'm doing a shitty job. And yet you're still here. You're going to do this upliftathon. It's going to be a success. You have sponsors. A lot of people are into it. And so I really hope that you recognize that. There are times where you feel less than and all this stuff and the depression and anxiety, like obviously that's going to be with you probably for the rest of your life. And just recognize that you're getting shit done, you're accomplishing things, and there's so many people who are just never going to accomplish a tenth of what you've done in just the past couple of years.
I have to, it's hard for me to accept that compliment, but it's coming from you and I admire you and I appreciate it. But I have to ask you, Rudy, are you talking to yourself?
I definitely have to remind myself because for the longest time I was stuck in a rut, like especially like when I was getting hospitalized and I was like living in a shitty family situation and too scared to share my story. And so I often say that like the past few years, like I've accomplished more in the past few years than most people will accomplish in their entire lives. So, but there are also times where I don't do shit for like a whole week. Especially there was a time where I might have done 1 or 2 cool things in the whole week, and the rest of it is just me laying in my bed and just doing nothing. So it was always funny when people would say like, "Oh, Rudy, you're doing so many things." It's like, no, you see the 1 or 2 cool things I do online, right, or whatever, and the rest is just nothing going on. So yeah, I have to remind myself about that, and it's nice. Like every now and then, you just got to pat yourself on the back. You have to like go check out your awards, your plaques, and all that stuff, and do all it, like go watch old videos that you're proud of and all this stuff, and it helps. I know it can kind of sound conceited to some people, but you know what? If you don't think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, no one else will.
No one else will. Yeah, it's no, we have, so there's 2 things. We have the emotional cookies that we award people who are kind to themselves. So that's like that's one of the things that's in line with what you're saying. And the other thing is I've gotten pretty bad at it, but for a while there I was collecting compliments and I was literally writing them down and putting them in a jar. And then when I would feel like shit, I'd reach in and grab a random one and read whatever somebody had said to me that I wrote down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea, and more people should do that. Like I feel like in our society, it's false modesty is romanticized.
Yes.
like we shouldn't, like it's bad for us to talk ourselves up and to have ambitions, to be open about that. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get shit done. I feel like more people are basically like are trained to think like don't be too sure of yourself, or like it's better to be modest than to be egotistical, not realizing that
but it's so
there's
like
somewhere
black
in
and
between.
white. There's an in between, right? It's so black and white to be like, well, if you're complimenting yourself, you must be a selfish douchebag, and you're like, well, no, because I think,
just
sorry, go ahead.
it just so happens that the people who are winning in life and having the most success are also the people who have no problem like putting themselves over and patting themselves on the back and talking themselves up.
Yeah, no,
like
it's
how many people
true.
that you see are completely crushing it in life, no matter what industry, but are also like, oh, I'm kind of a piece of shit.
Not really. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think that comes from, especially from people who, like you and me, and I'm sorry, maybe I'm speaking for you here, but like people who come from shit families where you kind of like can't, where nobody's ever said nice things to you. So like it's a huge deal for you and me to say nice things to ourselves. Whereas I think a neurotypical person or somebody who didn't grow up in a traumatic childhood would just think nice things about themselves. So when you have to explicitly say something about yourself, it seems conceited to somebody who's just like, I don't have to say this shit to myself. Like that's weird. Why do you have to go out of your way to do something nice for yourself? You know what I mean? Daily self-worth.
No, I mean, I definitely, I didn't get a lot of positive reinforcement at home. I would always seek it out. I would try to find mother and father figures.
Yeah.
I would try to find friends and fail at it. I would have mother and father figures, but then they leave me. They all left me. And now I don't talk to my mother and father at all. So it's always, I mean, I have a stepmother and stepfather, and they're amazing. They're just like the real thing. But it's always a hole. Like I remember very vividly, I was having lunch. I had a social worker. She was awesome. She took me for lunch at a park one time, and we were sitting down, and I saw a father playing catch baseball with his son. They were like just maybe like 10 feet away, and I asked to leave to go somewhere else because I just can't be around that. And she knew why before I even told her. So yeah, no, I mean, you make a good point there, and I didn't really think about that, where it's, if you don't get that, especially at a young age, that positive reinforcement and like acknowledging your strengths, then it's hard for you to express that yourselves, or feel like it's in poor taste, or it's a bad look for you. And the thing is that anytime I hear someone say like, oh, like I don't care about having this or that, it's usually people who are full of shit.
that too.
So like everyone wants to be successful. Like not everyone wants to be rich and famous. I totally get that. But everyone wants to completely kick ass at what they do.
Whatever it is that they're doing. Right.
Yeah, so if they're telling you otherwise, it's false modesty. And you and I, Marie, we see right through that. We're calling you out.
I love you, Rudy, but tomorrow I have a 4-hour show, and we gotta wrap this up so that I can go to bed and do that.
Yeah. Oh, no worries. Is this considered a longer than usual interview, or I've lost track of time?
Nowadays, yeah, but it was like good because you and I were like into it. It wasn't like it was forced this long or anything. But
okay, cool. Yeah, I don't want to wear out my welcome. I'm used to like a hard 1 hour window, so thank you so much.
Just so you know, that was 2 hours. That's why I was
like, wow.
Hey, yeah, it just went by.
Time flies.
Yeah, dude.
Blank, blank, blank.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I know we didn't like get a lot of shit done on Animal Crossing, but thank you for your gifts. Thank you for the black roses.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. They're black tulips. I don't want you to get too excited. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end session here.
And that'll
and that'll boot you while saving everything and not having to go through stuff. Yeah, it seemed more it was because we were kind of playing while we were interviewing. Do you want me to throw
this was a good format.
Yeah, you dig it?
Yeah, no, I mean it challenged me, and like I feel like we got we got a good conversation. I was worried about that I'd be too focused on the game to where like I get distracted by having like a meaningful conversation, and it was actually the opposite.
That's funny. That is actually like super funny to me. But hold on, let's move over here. Yeah, so we did it. We freaking did it. I think we did a fantastic job, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to yeah, if you want to do a compare and contrast for sure. Do you want me to load this onto YouTube, or is this too casual for your resume?
Oh no, go for it. It just boosts my SEO, so I'll get that Google alert.
Oh my gosh. So you're absolutely fantastic. Everybody, this is Rudy Caseres. Check out, this is where you can find all of SPSM chat, and that is the way to find him. I'm not going to load these interviews for a few days because Bliftathon is going to suck away all of my life. But
we got to color correct it and add the lookup table and everything. And
sure. Yeah, for sure. Definitely not doing that. But have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night, Rudy.
Well, thank you. And one additional thing, though, too, is that you can also follow me personally at Rudy Caseres on Twitter, Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook. So your people are awesome. So I want to connect with them, too. So if you liked me and didn't think I was bitching too much, then connect with me. Reach out to me.
They love you. They love me, and I like you, so they'll love you. It's all good. It's all good. What are you
Trying to make a heart, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Bye, everyone.
Right. Have a wonderful rest of your night, Rudy. We're going to host somebody. If you feel like the world is dark and like nobody can give you the love and the care that you so deserve, go out there and be that light to others. Serve as that example. Yeah, you be the light. And I'll see you tomorrow for the Upliftathon. Bye.